Hi everybody, my name is Marilla Prett and this is Martine Robinson, my very old and dear friend. And we are alternative practitioners of varying modalities. We've been doing our own stuff for some time and we decided a time ago, but now is the time, to get together and do something together and to bring what wisdom skills we've got to the greater community, to the souls waking up, to those souls who are already awakened, just as a central hub that you can come to, that in time, hopefully lots of topics will be available for you, lots of videos, other practitioners too. We would love to come on board with us, but we're starting here now as best we can, small, and we're going to build as best we can. But today we thought we would just do this first intro, literally to offer who we are for you to get to know us personally, our story, how we got to where we are and what we do now, so that you feel a bit more comfortable with us. And from here on, we will just be doing topics that we feel that are in divine accord, that we're being impulsed to, and we just hope that it's a space that you can come and be with us, and also an interactive space, because we will down track love to have your thoughts and your questions and suggestions for how we could do things better, or what you actually want to hear or know, that's in our realm as best possible. Okay, so I'm going to hand over firstly to Martine to introduce herself, her succinct story. We know we don't want to bore you, but at the same time we do want to tell you who we are so you can understand, and then she'll throw it back to me down track. So Martine, take it away.
Hi. That was a really well put introduction there, Maria. I was really a fan of that, and it really articulates how and why we're here in the first place. So for me, why I'm personally here is because I love just being this beautiful conduit of light, just being a support around people who perhaps are coming into their own way of connecting with love, or connecting back to love, or connecting back to themselves in some way, and have felt at times maybe alone or isolated, or that they can't move through certain patterns or certain ways of thinking. And so, I know that Marie and I both challenge each other and ourselves to think outside like the box, and just come from this place of absolute love. And I know that it's a big thing for many people to just try and to get to on their own. And I didn't just wake up this way, nor will I say that I'm there at all. It's not about where we are. It's about, as you know, the journey, and about us discovering ultimately that true connection with love, which I just don't even think we're there. I just don't even think we've really tapped into what that can truly feel like. But with everything that's been happening on our planet in the last couple of years, there's more and more of us that are seeking out just a different way of feeling on a daily basis. And so my little history in that is the last 12 years I've had my own little clinic space, and I've worked under the guise of sort of, I would say, an energetic practice, and a homeopathic practice, and nutrition practice. And so obviously that's then allowed me to attract a myriad of walk of life. And I love the clientele that I do attract into the space, and it's getting more and more interesting as time goes on, because the more that I grow as a person, the more that I attract people who are ready to grow in the same ways, which is really exciting. Because I would say that the most common thing that people say about what they love about my space, and I just had it this morning, someone came to me and they were like, okay, I just want to move in. Can I just move in for 3 weeks? And I said to them, well, you know that it's not going to all be like, a happy place. You know what I'm like. It's not all just going to be roses. There will be some truth. She's like, that's what I love. I love that. I just need hard truths for 3 weeks straight, and then I feel like it's going to be good. And, I definitely had to master that over the years. Like a very long time ago, when I was a child, like I experienced lots of tonsillitis, and I grew up in quite a conventional way. So the medicines that were used on me were classic antibiotics, and you know, I just lived on antibiotics for all this time. And it wasn't until I was 19 that I got my tonsils removed, and the doctor that removed them said that they were the worst tonsils that he'd seen in 7 years. And that was a big shifting time for me. I know. I was like, it was a massive shifting time for me, because it was like I'd already sort of started to take an accountability journey. But, you know, for me, it was I was at the absolute baby steps of taking accountability. And that to me launched my journey back into health in a myriad of ways. And first and foremost, the massive thing that I needed to shift through was like my throat chakra, for obvious reasons. And, you know, that, you know, throughout my 20s, I felt like I was still really explosive with my voice. I was still really, I would share just so much. I would probably overshare, or I would become really aggressive really easily. Like this throat chakra was a massive deal for me. And now I've learned to utilize it as my absolute gift. You know, I feel like the way that I can express myself through my words, through my voice, is a real gift for the community that is around me. And it's the way that I share my stories. It's the way that I share my journey. And it's the way that I share what I feel like is the love body around what's happening. So, you know, ultimately the homeopathy and all the other ways in which I've drawn people into my clinic space has still come down to the same thing that I do with everyone, which is, you know, raise vibration and raise it up to a love vibration, so that we can not look at it through what I call a story, or something that is less than, that coming from a less than love perspective, into this raising vibration. I love that I've got homeopathy to use as a tool for that, but I've also been on my own journey with that, particularly in the last few years, because I don't want to fix people. It's not my job to fix anyone. And so I've had to go on a journey at large, where even a few years ago, like 6 or 7 years ago, when I used to sort of hit the books a lot more than I do with now with homeopathy, is like the remedies just start to flash in, and I'd still feel like I have to prove it. Now it's like the last few years I've had to go on this massive journey of, I don't want to give something that's going to do the job for them. And I had to go on this massive sort of cycle around to come back to this place of, well, no, it's this beautiful connection of support through someone's journey. And ultimately the homeopathy is just there to serve as another aspect of support in someone's journey through coming back into their own heart center. So my journey has, like, you know, is one that will be consistently shared through all that we do, because you can't help but share parts of you. So I think I'll sort of stop there with what and where I came from, and, you know, let that evolve in its own time, and kick over to you, Marie.
Okay, thank you. Yep. How unique we all are in our travels to this point of now, I suppose. And it's always fascinating to hear someone's story. And, you know, mine too will be, you know, as we progress through these moments, these videos, that I too am a huge storyteller. And, you know, it's such I find a safe and genuine aspect to do and to be, that if someone can hear a part of them within your story, they can take so much from it at their leisure and in their own way. And I think that's what the power of the story is about, that we all have our own story and we all need to be heard in our own unique time. And I love stories too, because there's not the finger pointing, preaching aspect, or this is the only way to do it. You know, stories you take or you leave it. And that's what I love about the story. So I'm with you on that. So my story, very quickly, is that I can truthfully and honestly say that right now, sitting here before you, whoever you may be, I am not the person that I was when I incarnated into this world. I'm not the person that I was 10 years ago. I'm not the person I was 6 months ago. And I'm certainly not the person that I was 20 to 30 years ago. I was a very negative person. I was a very, very fearful, fear-based person. My life was lived and created through fear. Did it serve me? No, it didn't. At that time, I didn't know any different. But I'm approaching 60. So I actually woke up, or I came into this wonderful knowledge, quite a way ahead of some of the pack as we know it now. My first initial awakening was in 1986. And my past life, as I like to call it, is that I was a nurse. I was a registered nurse. I was a cardiac nurse unit manager level 3, so I was top of the tree. I finished my nursing as an assistant director of nursing at a private hospital. So, you know, I wasn't any wacko out there by any means. I had a lot of responsibility. I was good at my job. But even in that job, I recognise now clearly the fear that was permeating through my being. That all changed at the end of 1999, particularly. But 1994 was my huge wake up. My first baby was born that year, and it was what I call my annus horribilis year. Everything that could collapse, collapsed. Everything that was ready for death and destruction in me and around me, physically, literally took place. And that happened because that period between 86 and 94, I didn't listen. I was running the other way, and I was still very locked into fear about me waking up, and I resisted the process. So, as many of us know now, and who may be here tuning, is that when we start to wake up, we don't get a say in it. Our higher self, our divine blueprint and plan is already established at the highest of levels before we incarnate. And so this is why you can have free will choice, but you can resist it so long, but it's going to catch you. And so 1994, it caught me, and I was lucky to survive the year, truthfully. And I did everything not to survive the year physically, but it wasn't my time. And I was told that at the time by an unknown voice that it wasn't for me, and I was to remain here on terra firma. So coming through that, my life began to change as everything in my body fell apart. Literally, I had sickness, I had toxins, I had skin problems, I had everything was just purging and collapsing, as I said. And I did. I came out the other side. I still survived. I still was alive. And then by 1999, I was waking well and truly, starting to find little groups. I was blessed to have an aunt that was my mentor, that was, you know, if she hadn't have been there, I don't know where I would have been, but it's meant to be this way. But 1999 was the year I left nursing, and that was a profound moment. It was a huge moment again, walking through fear, to walk this path that I now call my journey, my path, my love, me. And with that came an incredible awakening and passion about energy, frequency and vibration, which is all the earth and we are. Walking that path deeper and deeper, running groups, as I came to know myself, and I came into greater understandings of what and how those thoughts, those frequencies affected me, how I could actually walk with them, work with them, and shift my being and my world, then that's what I offered to anyone around me that was willing to listen or hear, and I still do. So it's been 22 years of solid teaching, 22 years of solid personal looking within, 22 years of constant shift and change, because this path is one that's evolutionary, spiritual evolution. So it is a journey. There is no destination, as Martine alluded to, and it's an infinite one. So we don't know who we are, because in truth, the more that we discover of what we think we know, the more we realize the less we truly know, and how great the path is and how amazing we must be that we're coming back into that remembrance about. So I kind of sit here now in a role or roles, for want of a word which I hate, and I don't like titles either. I don't use titles. But for the sake of today, I guess my skill set that I bring through is I can pick the shadow aspect at a million paces in myself and in others. But that's because I've looked at mine so heavily and I just know it. And that's the only reason I do know it, because I've had to look at mine. It's been so great. I'm a sound healer. I do a lot of sound work. I do anything with energy. I'm intuitive. I work intuitively. I do a lot of, I suppose, it's only the other day I realized the word shaman was sitting around me. And I always had this vision of what a shaman was, and I wasn't a shaman, but I actually accepted the other day that I do shamanic work as well, because the visions that I get and what I take people into their DNA, or I take them into their body, or take them into the earth, is very shamanic. So I accepted that this week. But I do tuning forks. I have a polyharmonic voice, so I can do multi-tonal sounds in one voice, one tone. Meditation, I don't know, it's an endless list that shifts and it does its swing as it's meant to. And right now, in truth, I'm at a stage where I feel I'm ready to launch again into something. So whether it's, this is a part of it, absolutely, or whether I feel at the moment I'm ready to remember another skill set from the Akash, or whatever it is that's coming in my divine purpose right now. And this is, again, what we're all here for, that we'll remember as we're divinely meant to. And I guess the one thing that I would love to just put out to everybody, whoever may listen to this, and I think it's just a great remembrance for us all, is this is a path of trust. This is a path of faith. It's a path of courage. That's what this really is about. But it's also the path of remembrance, because you can't go out to find these things. You can't go out to do them and want to become them because you want to. You can try that, but remember that you're coming from a lower ego aspect in that sense. That if we can just learn to trust, to step back and to take a breath, you're not going to miss out on anything on this journey. Everything's already in your field. It's already waiting for you, just to clear the fog, to clear the old programs, to clear the lies and deceptions that, we've allowed. And as we peel away some of the veils that we allowed to create in the old, everything you're going to need and everything you think you want to seek is ready. It's in the now, ready and waiting for you, simply in a vibrational sense to match it and to align to that. So don't stress. Everything's fine. Our aim, I feel, is to bring you hopefully interesting topics, but to also bring the skill sets, to bring the modalities to assist you through these processes, to offer you things that we know, and you may offer us new things as well. Hey, we're open, for us all to move together, because we are moving to this wondrous new earth called fifth dimension, the new golden age. It's happening. It's here now. And to do that, we have to raise our vibration to it. It's not coming to us. We must do the inner work purely on a vibration and frequency load to match it. And that's how we will access a consciousness that is the new fifth dimensional earth. Yeah. So that's kind of me very, very quickly, if that makes sense. So to close, I guess, how I see myself ultimately is I feel that I bring, and I'm blessed to have my past life of nursing, because I feel it's given me such a beautiful marriage between the physical and the metaphysical that gives me this wondrous completion and a wondrous circular aspect, no beginning, no end, where everything's one. And we need East and West. We need physical and metaphysical right now. And we need to understand them both and how they can come back and work harmoniously together as one. And I guess that's where I step in and what I do. So, yeah, that's
Marie
me.
And I talk a lot always about the concept that we're still in this worldly consciousness of duality, and while duality still exists, there are always this weighing out of the two sides, and know that there isn't a wrong or a right. There merely are just two sides that we are still perceiving through these eyes. And the way that I always put it in my world is I stretch my arms out like this, and I always say one hand over here is the ultimate love, and one hand over here down the end there is fear, and then everything else kind of lies in between. And so, you know, when I'm faced with something that I'm challenged by, and I simply ask myself, and the key word there is simply, is what I'm feeling taking me closer to my love hand or closer to my fear hand? And, you know, I feel like that ultimately has been my journey for forever, and it still is. It's discerning fear. Like every day, everything that ever happens to me, I'm constantly discerning. And likewise with information that I get, you know, again, we come from a really heady history where we've been fed so much information, we've read so many books, we've listened to so many perspectives, and it plays heavily on what we feel like we should be thinking, what we feel like we should be doing, where we actually want to be heading, and all of that. Whereas again, like Marie said, it's actually about attuning to what's around us, and what my new favorite word is, and atoning it into what I feel like comes back down into our innate, like, crumblings of the groundwork of the love that we are ultimately learning, like infant children, how to actually immerse ourselves in the vibration of. And again, no attachment to the fact that why we're here as humans or why we're not here as humans or what we're ultimately here to ascend into. But for me, it comes back down to bringing this duality into that connection of the oneness.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, again, at the end of the day, duality is finishing. This game is closing of duality, and we're going back into a unity consciousness again. So, to get there, we have to simply work through the aspects of what has kept us in duality, simply reconcile them, atone for them, as you said, recognize and allow them, and ultimately transfigure or transmute them into that high frequency that we both spoke of earlier. But it's a great walk, and I guess, you know, in kind of, I suppose, just closing off today, because we don't want to overwhelm you just with us in this moment. But I guess the message I'd like to put out, if you know you've been walking this for a while, and I know how heady and how heavy it can get for even those that know their stuff, so to speak, or if you've sort of found us and stumbled across us and you're just in the beginning stages, or you're an awakener just coming online, so to speak. However and whatever's presenting for you right now, please know that everything's okay. Please know that you're okay. You might not look at it, I know it might not feel it. Absolutely. Been there, done that, we all have. But you are okay, you will be okay. And again, us, people like us, there's plenty of them out there. You can find whoever resonates. Use the support team that understand and call to them and align to them, because we're here, and this is going to be the way of the future. Many people who may be waking up through us, you're going to need support. That's the crux. I've done it a lot on my own. Most of my journey I've done my own, and it's a tricky one, but I chose that path. I created that for me for greater reasons. But we all need someone at times just to help steer us, just to be a little bit of a light, a little bit of truth, that can just give us that moment to take a breath where we think, oh, thank God, okay, yeah, and reset the sail, and that's why I hope that this hub, let's call it a hub for want of a word right now, that this little space can create for whoever just wants to drop in and drop out. We're just going to be here because we know this is what we're being called to do now for as long as it lasts. We're not in it for us. We just want to do what we do because we love what we do, and we want to share what we know to help as many people as we can. And that's my intention anyway, and I know it's my team's.
Yeah, and to add to that, there's going to be some conversations that go down that you may not like. And my number one thing to say to that is, what is it stirring in you? What is it raising in you? What shadow is it bringing up? There's always going to be something that you don't like hearing, and there's always going to be something that you almost squeal at, like,
react.
That it will trigger you, for lack of a better choice of words. Marie and I tend to be very good at that, and I certainly know Marie's been wonderful at that for me over the years, but that's a blessing if you want to look at it that way. And, you know, it's one of, I think, our greatest strengths is the fact that, as Marie, what did you call it, Marie, when you said that you can see through? What was your words?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Cut through.
Cut through you can see this. You didn't call it shadow either. I call it shadow or ego. You call it something different. Anyway, we both have that's what we do. We like, yeah, that's not truth. Like you're aligning with something different there.
And can I say to that too, what's really important too, because so you don't think, well, who the frig do you think you are? Is because, you know, when we speak like this, and it's years of training to get to this point, again, it's not our opinion of what we think of someone. You know, when you align to the heart just sees the truth and it sees through all the illusion. And that's what Martine's referring to, that, you know, when I said earlier that I can cut through, is simply that I have raised my frequency enough that the veils have fallen away enough that my third eye is open in alignment with my heart. So then I can see and feel the truth instantly. And most times I don't need to speak to anybody about that. But if it's time and if it's in highest divine order, that's when we speak. Yeah, not just to say something, because that would be our ego. And you know, a lot of the times, as Martine knows, I let people walk. I let people do their thing because that's the aim. You need to discover for you in your journey, when you fall over, how to get up again. You know what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Somebody telling you how to do this walk isn't going to work. So, as I said, we're coming with the guidance to keep you going when you fall, how to get up again, to give you the courage to pull yourself back up and to know that it's okay and you're not the only one that falls over.
Well, shall we close with a simple grounding and connecting?
Yeah, I think that might be nice, really simplistic, and I'll let you do that, I feel.
Okay. Well, this is just this one's an oldie but a goodie. Definitely one that like, you know, I just bring in at any moment, and I'll often have my eyes open while I'm doing it. But if I really connect in, then I'll have my eyes shut. You don't have any attachment to how this has to be done. So I'll just flow you through it, and then you can practice it on your own in any which way that resonates with you as well. So if you are driving, listening to this, then obviously don't be doing it while you're driving. But just pause it and come back to it. And so if you are, when you are ready to listen to it, when just closing down your eyes, I like to go a little bit within. So I'm going to close my eyes as well. And just taking in a few deep breaths. I find breaths to be like the simplest way to bring your center back and to allow you to soften and go within and to bring your energies in as well. When I say bring your energies in, we spend so much of the day sharing little bits of ourselves. And as I say this, just imagine those little fragments of you that you've shared throughout the day coming back to you now, forming the jigsaw puzzle that is you. Taking a few more deep inhalations right down to the belly. And I'll start this by just asking you to visualize a beautiful cylindrical ball of white light in the middle of whatever space you're in right now. If you're out in the open world, then just again imagine this beautiful ball just out in the world. If you're in a room, just imagine it in the center of the room. And I like to visualize this cylindrical ball as a spinning sphere. And as it spins, it starts to collect any lower vibrations, any lower frequencies that are within this space right now. So it's like your own personal lower vibration vacuum cleaner. So as you see this sphere getting bigger, it's because it's gathering up these lower vibrations and turning them into love and light. And see it beginning to get bigger and bigger so that it begins to move through you and wash through you. And see it continuing on out into the four corners of whichever space that you're in, or just allowing it to move out and around the world. So it circumnavigates all the way around the world until we complete this meditation. Just sending its white light and clearing away any lower vibrations as it moves through. And then bring that white light down through the top of your head, also known as the crown chakra. And see it begin to move through you, move through all your internal organs, your bones and your veins. So see it moving down your head. See it moving down your shoulders. And as it moves down your shoulders, you can see and feel it begin to wash away any tightness or tension that we often feel around that area. Spending as much time as you need, or allowing that white light to focus its attention where it needs to through your body. But slowly starting to allow it to wash through with ease and grace, like water, like a beautiful flowing water down a river. See it moving down the arms and out the palms. See it moving down the front of the torso, the back of the torso, the sides of the torso. Moving down all the organs of the torso. Just observing anywhere where that water feels a little bit more stuck or not flowing with ease. And just spend some more time, however long it needs, until that water flows very easily down. And continue to bring that light water all the way down your thighs, over your knees, your calves, and then out the feet. See that white light moving all the way down now from the top of your head out through the soles of your feet. And through the feet now. See that white light turning into beautiful roots, like roots of a tree, growing out the soles of your feet. See the roots traveling down through the layers of the earth, being planted into the earth, like grounding into our Mother Earth energy. And feel Mother Earth touch those roots. And as she does, she sends her beautiful earth energy, the energy in which you've chosen to reside, your soul in this time. She begins to allow that energy to move up through the soles of your feet, up through those roots and through the layers of the earth, and starting to intertwine with that white light. And you may start to feel a heaviness, a more grounded energy begin to circulate through your body as it intertwines with the lightness of the white light, the universal love energy. Begin to continue to bring that earth energy up through the legs, the arms, the torso, the shoulders, the neck, and then finally out through the head. And just observe for a moment these two energies flowing through you. Perhaps observing if there's any difference of how you feel. And then lastly, about 90 centimeters above the crown of your head, I'd like you to visualize a beautiful golden tap. And as you turn this tap on, out pours a beautiful platinum gold mesh that begins to coat your auric field, which is like an egg shape all the way around your body. See it moving with ease all the way around the outside of your auric field and under your feet. And you can check in with these energies throughout the course of the day as well. You can check in on your little egg. You can check in on the grounded Earth, Mother Earth energy, and you can click in on the white light. And now you can feel that beautiful white light that's been circumnavigating around the earth coming back to you now. And as you do, taking a few deeper breaths as you bring yourself back into the room, back into the awareness of everything that's around you, and back into the consciousness of us. So you have to unmute yourself, Marie.
I said that was nice. Good to see the mesh. I haven't used the mesh in a while. That was nice.
Yeah, there's so many different ways of doing things, aren't there?
Yeah, love it. Yeah, all are perfect. Okay, well, we might love you and leave you now, and we will come back at another time. We get to decide what we're doing with that, but we're started, we're on our way, and we're just going to let this organically flow and trust what happens. So I thank you all. If you're listening, thank you very much. I thank you, Martine.
Thank you, Marie, for being here as well with me on this journey, and thank you all for listening, and we'll tune in again another time.
Okay, have a great day. Much love. Bye.